Well, hello.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
So, as we begin, I have to quickly tell you that I've been trying to do an interview with this man for 10 years. Seriously, 10 years across different networks and companies that I've worked for. And lo and behold, when it finally came through, it was an awesome moment. It'll be on Good Morning America next week. But then afterwards, this man asked me to do this. And I was like, I get a 2-for-1-er? It was worth the full 10 years.
Aw, thanks.
But you've been releasing music for 21 years.
Wow. I mean, technically longer than that. all right?
Technically longer than that,
Because-
but the first release
yeah.
was 2002.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question for you as you continue to set up here, what would you go back as the recording artist that you are today, and congratulations on your studio album being released in, what, T-minus 5 hours or something like that?
Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self back in
Technically,
2002?
it's like 2 hours. It'll be out.
Technically, it's 2 hours. That's true. You're really
okay.
good with math.
Yeah. Okay. What was your question?
What would you tell your younger self? We can go back and you think about recording their first album and releasing it in 2002. What have you learned? What do you wish you would have known back then?
I would tell that young man, hey, don't break so many hearts. Because you're only breaking your own. You know? Like, yeah, I mean, you have to choose your past. Can I get a little less reverb on the microphone just while we're talking? Thanks. Yeah, I have to choose my past. So the mistakes I made, I have to forgive myself, you know. And that goes especially in songs. I'll record a song sometimes before it's even fully realized. And then I get 6 months down the road, I'm singing it, and I'm like, oh, now I know how to finish this line. Like it's all, now it's together, but the recording is forever, in my heart, kind of incomplete. So I have to just choose my past. You know, I got what I got. So.
Is there any song in particular that comes to mind as you think about that analogy you just shared with us?
Too many to think of. I mean, I can point out even parts of I'm Yours that have changed since I recorded it. So.
Can you share with us, considering that is, you know...
Okay, since I just mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the song was written very quickly. And, you know, my writing style is very much like a freestyle. I just start playing chords and then I start singing. And if it starts to make sense to me, I'm kind of an observer in the process. And if I'm tickled by it, you know, I'll make sure to write it down or press record on something and capture it. So then I can attempt to recreate it. And so that song came out very, very quickly, and I leaned on my Southern vernacular as I was doing so. So like the opening line is, you done me in, you bet I felt it. You know, it's like I was defeated, and now I'm trying to get back. And in the second verse, third verse, I said, it's our God-forsaken right to be loved. And that's, again, from my Southern vernacular. It's just something we'd say, oh, God forsaken this, God forsaken that. It's kind of a swear. And it means kind of in the absence of God, we're stuck with this, right? It didn't occur to me at that time that that line didn't resonate with sort of the truth of the line. I was turning a phrase from my childhood vernacular, from my hometown, my regional speak. Before I fully realized it, and I would get a few months down the road after I made the recording, mind you, that it's our God-intended right to be loved. And so I shifted that word because I no longer believed forsaken. I didn't believe it. It didn't make sense to me to sing it that way. And so occasionally this will come up time and time again inside my songs where the lyric just no longer rings true for me, and so I'll shift it. And I was asked about it by a young artist named Grace Vanderwall, and she said, "Why did you change the words right there?" I was like, "Well, it was kind of dark." She goes, "Yeah, that's why everybody liked it." I was like, "Oh, okay, sorry." It's true.
Well, obviously, everyone here are fans of yours, and I'm Yours is very close to everyone's heart. But this new release, and I've been listening to it nonstop. I work out to it. It's a really sort of a return to that space in which I'm Yours became the phenomenon that it became. It's very dancey, it's very poppy, but I don't want to talk about the dance tunes yet. I want to start with a particular lyric that I share with you backstage and would like to share with the audience because it felt extremely personal in a way that I think serves as a North Star for the entire album. And so the line goes...
I was about to say that exact same thing about that line. Because
Really?
I know. Anyway, keep going.
No, you
It's
go
beautiful.
ahead. This is your show. I'm just
No,
up
no,
here.
no. Go-
You sure?
keep
Okay.
going.
All right. Then on the day I turned 42, I started thinking about all I want to do. I've had thousands of hours and chances to do them. Do dreams disappear if I don't get to them today? Are these my best days, or am I only halfway living my life dreams? Time be kind to me. A little time is all I need. You've had a brilliant career, Jason, but when I heard that line, it sounded as if you were just scratching the surface. Was that the intent?
Yeah, because no matter how much you accomplish, the day is new in front of you. It doesn't matter. Yes, you have experience from living life, but you don't have experience to live today, right? It's still brand new. And I'll use writing as my analogy. Like, even though I've written 1,000 songs, the next one is blank. The page is blank. It's a mountain to climb. It's a prayer that you hope to be answered. It's a journey to see that page be filled with thoughts and emotions and rhyme scheme. So in a way, I always feel like a beginner. I just do. I always feel like I haven't accomplished anything because I'm so in love with the process that I just want to be in the process all the time. That I can't rest on my laurels and just live in the past. So,
What happened at 42? That's a very specific age.
well, so I wrote this album in tandem with 4 incredible artists named Raining Jane. They're not all named Jane. There's no Jane in the group. Together they are Jane. Mona, Becky, Chaska, and Mai. They're here tonight. And this was the first song we wrote for this album. We would get together, and we have done this since 2007. We'd get together once or twice a year, sit in a circle, bring our instruments, and just start playing. And we'd build up sounds and feelings and vibes and start making noise. And then I'll just start singing. I'll just start improvising over it. And they're like musical midwives. They're there to catch it and keep it reeled in and add harmonies to it. And almost instantaneously, we can hear the potential of the song, or we get to hear the song itself. And Little Time was written in early 2019, I believe. We're sitting around the living room playing and strumming, and the chords are beautiful, taking us on this ride. And the ride of it really made me start to think about the passing of time, and I was 42 at the time. And that was probably the first verse I wrote of the entire song. And
You're shitting me.
no, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could probably, we could go through hours of work tapes, and I could probably find like the origin. But it's not so much what happened at 42. It's just that there's this feeling of in your 40s, you're old enough now to look back and go, shit, I survived. We did some crazy stuff, and here we are. But you're not exactly in the older crowd yet. You're just lost in the middle. Nobody cares how old you are, when your birthday is. It's like, okay, good for you.
It's like 37, right?
There you go.
Like 37 is like a
Yeah.
nothing birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, 37, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, just somewhere kind of not lost in the middle, but just wondering what's next. Where am I going? You know, I've always felt a little unworthy to be sitting up here on the lights and get to make up my songs. It's crazy, and so that unworthiness then amounts to like, what else? What am I going to do with my life? Right? I have to either prove my worth or I have to go do something that feels valuable to others and purposeful so that I can just, I don't know, enjoy the ride, you know, make the most of this life. Could I just sing the song?
I was going to ask you
Yeah.
to.
Thanks. The talking about the songs is so strange. I've probably talked longer than the song itself. And the song is very long. Okay, this is the aforementioned Little Time. On the day you came into this world, that day, it was all the time in the world. Day one, the whole span of a life, and only one sun had ever set on a night, because we had no memories, at least none that I can see. We come here with a dream. A little time is all I need. And on the day I turned 21, we're now 7,607 suns, and each day seems to get brighter and better. And at that age I thought I'd live forever, because I was young and I was having all the fun for me, chasing my dreams. It was a time for living free. Yeah, a little time is all I need. Then on the day I turned 42, I start thinking about all I still want to do. I've had thousands of hours and chances to do them. Do dreams disappear if I don't get to them today? Are these my best days? Or am I only halfway to living my dreams? Time, be kind to me. Yeah, a little time is all I need. And on the day I turn 65, will I be cashing it in? Will I finally retire and be who I'm supposed to be? Or will I have to keep working to make my ends meet with my aches, all my pains to deal with? I lost friends and I never found Jesus, thank God. I still have my dreams. A little time is all I need. Yeah, a little time is all I need. And if there's a day I get to turn 101. That'll be more than 36,000 rising suns. And I'll rise if I can, and I'll dance my old dance. I imagine I'll probably hike up my pants, 'cause I've learned how death's always there at our ankles, teasing us, teaching us how to be grateful, 'cause days are now about how well we live them, how much we've loved and how much we've given away. Before we're history, a day is now a century, and I'm ready to dream a new dream. A little time is all I need. Yeah, a little time is all I need. Yeah, a little time is all I need. A little time is all I need. A little time is all I need. Thank you very much. That's so nice.
You see why I gravitated towards that song?
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
So I think I've just always, and like a through line for all my albums is like, why are we here, and what's my purpose? So I've always been thinking about my mortality ever since maybe, I don't know, my first cat died or something. We learn about loss very young, and it's like, it's probably the greatest fear that we just have to lock in a closet somewhere and forget about and deal with other daily fears. So I think about that a lot, and so that song is kind of about that. It's this thought that, a little time is all I need, and then I'll get to it. I'll do it later, but that's not a guarantee. There's no guarantee we'll get to that time. So it was an exploration of time. That's what that song was for.
And the brilliant thing about that song is that it transitions from that thought, right, of I have time, not really, and then there's a little pause, and then it's you might like it, which is this idea of go, pursue your dreams, work your ass off. Who knows, you might actually like it. And it's like this beautiful moment within the album, and then I started to look at the connected tissue from the beginning to the end, and it feels very autobiographical.
Yeah.
Is this your most autobiographical release that you've had?
That I wrote with 4 other women? Yes. But I think there's the truth in that is because I have 4 peers sitting around me. And so if I'm going to be singing, I can't make something up. I can't be something I'm not. I can't pretend this is who I am, because my 4 friends sitting around me are going to call me out. They're like, that ain't you. And so I think I'm called into more of my authentic self because I write in collaboration with my colleagues.
What was your writing process early on? Were you really writing alone, or were there other colleagues that perhaps inspired something different from you?
I was writing mostly alone early on, and I also wouldn't edit as intentionally or something. I would improvise a song and say, that's it. That's how it goes. It doesn't make any sense, but it does. Because I know where the punctuation is, but they don't. So I had fun with unraveling words early on, and occasionally I would write a character song or try to. Because I think when you're growing up, you would get to these places at every age and go, oh, this is who I am. Oh, okay. And then the next age, oh no, this is who I am. And then I'd look back and realize I was all these versions of myself trying to get to this is who I am, right?
So there's Mr. A to Z. There's the geek in the pink.
Right.
Are there any other personas that I'm?
I think after the geek in the pink, I tried to just go for more of my authentic self after that, and that song was written in Miami, in a recording studio filled with rappers, and it was amazing because I'm, I don't know, early 20s, mid 20s, and it's very hazy in there, and
Was
I'm
it indica or sativa?
Good question. But I was right where I wanted to be, guy made a beat, and then he left. And it was me and the engineer and all this haze. And there had been so much talent in the room that I wrote that song to try to stand up and be a part of that and prove myself. Again, this is kind of a theme too. It's like, I think through life, I've been trying to prove myself, and I can do that with music. And so I autobiographically, in that moment, I was like, well, let the geek in the pink take a stab at it, because I was wearing a little pink polo shirt. It was just a coincidence that I was wearing a pink shirt
serious?
that day. Yeah.
I was dressing in pink thinking that was a thing.
See, once we market it, it becomes a thing, and then I'm stuck in pink for a year and a half.
Damn it.
It was just, that
I
was the moment.
seriously did my interview with him for GMA wearing pink pants like, I'm a geek in the pink too.
I wear pink sometimes. Yeah.
So if that was the first line in the first song, obviously, of this new album, and you consider that line to be the North Star, can you talk a little bit about why? Why is that line in particular the North Star to the entire project?
So we write a lot of songs. We get together and we write all kinds of songs. And occasionally you write one that, you feel it. We all in the room are like, that's real. That's a real moment. That's our life. And you nurture that moment and you breathe it in and you try to build a song around it. And we knew out of the, half dozen songs or so we may have written that week, we knew this is an anchor, So when we get back together and write more songs, we can see if we can add another song like that as potent to our, ongoing playlist that we're developing. So I think we're all in our mid 40s. We all resonated with that song because of the time lived and hopefully time we get to continue to live. And for some reason, writing with Rainy Jane, we've always had success. When we get together, something magical always happens.
How did you guys find each other? Did she slide into your DMs or something? Or?
I don't think DMs were a thing yet. We were both booked at a college in 2006. They were on the bill. It was a little mini festival. And they were performing as I arrived. And I noticed these women all exchanging instruments or trade. They were all multi-instrumentalists and harmonic and engaging the audience. And I thought, I have to follow them. I was by myself. I was like, I got to follow this group who's making the crowd go wild. And it was at a time in my life where I was a solo act again. I had finished the Mr. A to Z tour, and the band had dismantled, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And so after their set, I was like, hey, would y'all ever want to come over and play on my demos? Because when I write songs, I'll make demos and try to play everything myself, and it's a process. But if I knew 4 people that played drums, bass, cello, sitar, electric guitar, lap steel, banjo, tambourines, and shaky things, please come over. Let's play music together. And that was it. They came over a couple of months later, and one of the first songs we wrote together was A Beautiful Mess, which is on We Sing, We Dance, We Steal Things. And again, it was one of these moments where we thought, that's real. This is a big, beautiful thing. Would y'all want to get together and do it again? And we kept doing it again and again and again. And every time we get together, we'll write 4 or 5 songs, and 1 to 5 of them are always really cool. Yeah.
That is so amazing.
So we made the Yes album in 2014, which is based on just songs that we wrote together. And after that experience, they've been a part of my team for ever this whole time. But after that album, we said we want to do another album together, where we're all in the studio together and we really birthed this thing, and it's based on our songs. And so that's where we are now. And for some reason, I'm on the cover of it. But it's definitely a group effort.
So my favorite song on the album is Disco Sun.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's just, it goes. Can you talk about the construction of that song? Because it's so different than
Yeah.
anything that I'm used to hearing from
Right.
you in particular.
Yeah. So, the chords never change. So this is kind of an anomaly on how it ended up on the record, or even why we play it, because to me it was it's just a loop, right? And so we're all looping this thing. We're up in Ojai and we're at a retreat and we're writing together and we're looping. And the beautiful thing about this team is we can loop something for 8 hours. Just loop it. Just keep it going. And then we'll pace around the room and sing ideas and try things out. And so we were just hypnotized by this loop. And I'm very much a backyard gardener. I like to check in with the earth every once in a while. And so I really just start singing about the earth, and I imagine plants growing in time lapse and how they sway under the disco sun, this sun that we're all spinning wildly around. So it was just an observation about nature.
You mind playing a little bit for the crowd?
Oh my
to hear a little?
gosh.
I mean, there's a guitar in your hand and everything.
All right. It's only 4 chords. How hard could it be, right? I did not expect you to request this one. Here we go. It's solar systematics, guiding how we all grow in the direction of a light show. Music has it, that same magnetic lasso that draws us to the window. The view's fantastic, everybody dancing to a disco sun. How romantic that a light that seems so distant reaches everyone. Love is shining, love exciting, love is blowing up. Love exciting, so inviting, love is blowing up. Winter, spring, summer to fall. Winter, spring, summer to fall. Winter, spring, summer to fall in love. Winter, spring, summer to fall. Rumor has it, everything you need is in your own backyard. The shrooms are magic, every precious weed knows who you are. It sounds psychoactive, it is. The message is massive. Remember, you're a flower, turn your power on, turn your power on. Love is shining, love exciting, love is blowing up. Love exciting, so inviting, love is blowing up. Winter, spring, summer to fall in love. Winter, spring, summer to fall in love. Winter, spring, summer to fall in love. Winter, spring, summer to fall in love again. The song is actually quite fast on the record, but fall in love again. And I tried to write this line. You'll never hear it this way, but maybe you will. But I tried to write it as winter, springs, summer to fall in love again. Winter, spring, summer to fall in love. How one feeds the next, and how we keep going around and around on this rhythmical, radical ride of this spaceship Earth. So the song was just that. It was an exploration about the environment and our place in it, and could have danced
It's
into the
such
cosmos.
a bop, but it continues to progress into a dance song.
Sure, yeah. There's a lot of tension
There's
in it.
so
yeah.
much tension, and
Yeah.
it reminds me a little bit 5-6. Do you remember that?
Yes.
In terms of the progression and the way that it continues to build, it really reminded me of that. Where 5-6 was jazzy, this is more dancey.
That's right. 5'6", yeah.
You want to
that's a
stop? I
tough
mean,
one.
you
Yeah,
just heard a
yeah,
yes. I
that's
mean, clearly, clearly, I'm not the only one that knows that song.
I don't remember it.
That was close enough.
When you're in a mood, baby, hear just what your heart has to say. The world is turning upside down and turning around you right now. I seriously don't remember the song. I am one album away, apparently not, I need it, from needing a teleprompter. It's true.
The comedian Joan Rivers used to tape everything down on the ground, and you can just do that.
I just need all the albums laid out with chord tabs above all the lyrics as well.
So Disco Sun is my favorite song. What is yours?
Wow, I love that you love Disco Sun. Off this new album, what's my, oh gosh, I love them all. I do, I love them all. It's such a cool record.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
For a second, I thought it was a musical.
Wow.
It has such a tangible narrative to it that if you close your eyes, and it could have been the weed too, I was high at the time, but if you close your eyes and just imagine this young person from the beginning of this song until the very end of the album, it feels like a very beautiful journey of this artist discovering himself and discovering life.
That's very true. We tried to sequence it that way for sure. And it starts with getting started, you know, and that, again, is very much about the page being blank, the day being new. Whatever we have survived so far has got us to this point, and you know, stepping out onto the stage again always feels like the first time. You don't really know how it's going to go, and you just have to cheer yourself on. And I think that's why a lot of my songs are about you know, ways of being, or how to view the world in a positive light, because I'm just trying to do it for myself. You know, I'm constantly cheering myself on. You know, don't give up, kid. You know, you've made it this far. Like, what's around the corner? You know, and there were firsts on this record. I think, you know, we really had to learn how to be a dance band. So we did things physically as musicians that were firsts for us.
The videos have a lot of dance in them as well.
It's true.
A lot of choreography.
True.
We've seen you boogie in ways we haven't seen you boogie before.
Yes, I was in show choir when I was in high school. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's in there. And it's not that when I wrote I feel like dancing, it's because I feel like dancing. It's the same as I was wearing pink that day. And next thing you know, you got to wear pink for the rest of your life. Same with I Feel Like Dancing. It was an idea that we had started singing on tour back in 2015. I like to dance, and it looks like this, and we would each take a little dance break. And I left that tour thinking, that's a song in itself. I got to figure out what that is. And so after many trials since 2015, we landed on this current version, and it's more about, yes, it's I like to dance like this, but it's also an observation of all the many dance crazes. And if you're scrolling through social media, you're going to come across somebody dancing. And it was a response to that. It's like looking at all the different ways that you can express yourself, all the different ways you can move your body, and there's no wrong way to do it. Everybody gets to have their own personal expression with, you know, the vehicle that we were given, you know, whatever that is. And so it's not that I wanted to be a dancer now all the time. And certainly people are hitting me up all the time. Let's see your moves. What's your favorite dance move? It's like, there's no music on. Like, what do you want me to do right now? So, yeah.
So it's June. Your new album comes out. June is also Pride Month.
Yeah?
I noticed a little rainbow.
I have a little rainbow
There you got the
here.
little,
I
yes.
keep
And then the
moving it
guitar
around,
itself,
yeah.
too, is still quite colorful. How has your journey in terms of,
Oh my gosh, we're gonna talk sexuality right now?
I didn't say anything about sexuality. I said journey. You see what he just did there?
Yeah, that's code.
How has your journeyality,
Journeyality? Yeah, I like that.
how has it been for you in terms of as an artist? Because it seems very purposeful to release this during Pride Month with the design in terms of the colors of the album and of course your guitar and etc.
Well, in a way, it's, who knows? It could be subconsciously, it all is exactly the way you're seeing it. It's also coincidental. But I think it's coincidental in that I'm seen in front of that rainbow, right? Because the reason that rainbow is there is we made our 8th album, and the photographer said, "Is there anything I need to know about this photo shoot for you and your band?" And we said, "What's our 8th album?" So he found a backdrop that had 8 stripes on it, and that's all he selected it for, was that number 8. And when we walked into the room, all of our clothing matched that backdrop. Now, we were probably all just tapped into the same color palette and style guide somewhere along the way, but we showed up kind of dressed like those stripes. And I showed up with the worst migraine I've had in a very long time. I couldn't open my eyes. I was nauseous. The photographer took one look at me and he said, "This isn't going to happen. We're not going to shoot this guy today." And I was like, no. So I drank my coffee. I took some headache medicine. I was sick in the restroom, and I kind of pulled it all together. And when I came to life, I just felt like, wow, I'm surprisingly good. Like I somehow purged this migraine completely out and was left like pure or something. And the photographer saw it, and he goes, "Go over there. Go sit over there." And I wasn't even fully dressed yet. I hadn't put on my shirt. And he's like, "Just go stand over there." And he took the shot. And then he turned his camera on. He said to all of us, "This is your album cover." And I was like, no. We're going to take a band photo, and I'm going to put a shirt on. And everyone's like, "No, this is who you are." And so there we end up with this photo. And then, of course, my birthday's in June, so they shifted the album release to be around my birthday. And so the fact that I'm standing in front of a rainbow and it's in Pride Month, I think is also, it's serendipitous, but it wasn't intentional, We didn't align it with Pride. But I think I've been trying to personally align with Pride for many years,
When do you think the exploration began for you? And can we identify it musically?
When did the exploration begin? Probably after midnight, under the covers.
It's not often I'm speechless.
I mean, is that where the exploration begins?
I mean in terms of saying, perhaps I'm not heterosexual. As I tried desperately to get the image of you, midnight covers out. Yeah.
So I've not been public about my marriage not being a thing anymore. I divorced several years ago, actually. And I realized very quickly after that marriage, after that contractual agreement, that I was not being true to myself, that I was chasing an ideal, that I thought if I just get myself into this relationship, I'll be cared for, and I can basically hide the rest of my life, and I'll be loved and taken care of and whatnot. And it was heartbreaking to admit it and come true to it and end that relationship. But it's what I needed to do. It's almost like I needed to go all the way there to go, no, pull it back. Like, there's so much more in you and so much life left in you. So it's been the last couple of years having a lot of fun.
So, Lovesick Romeo, if you think you've seen it all.
If you think you've seen it all. Yeah,
This is all coming from this this transitional moment in your life?
Yeah, so I feel like, so on the cover, I'm standing there and I've got beginner tattooed on my arm. It's been there since I started surfing, maybe 2005, 6. I felt like such a beginner at surfing, and the guys out there are all aggro. They're like, out of the way, beginner. And I was like, I wish I had beginner on my chest, like, just so that they could give, have compassion for beginners, because we want to learn, we want to try. And so I got beginner tattooed on my arm so that other surfers would see, like, I'm a beginner, and beginners have more fun. We don't know the difference between a good day in the water or a bad day in the water. We're just in the water. And so I've tried to have that outlook, and I think being photographed on an album feels new to me, because I haven't been photographed on an album in a very long time. And being somewhat exposed and having come true to some personal experiences, I felt like I was starting over. I felt like I was starting a new chapter for my career, not discrediting where I've been and what I've done, hopefully not hurting anyone's feelings, but giving myself a fresh start to write new things and live a new life.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said in this album, it can be, but you might like it.
You might like it.
You might like it.
Yeah.
Shall we begin taking questions from the audience?
Yeah, we can do a Q&A.
Yeah.
I'm really thrilled that we've been talking about new songs, because the album's not even out yet. And we're at the GRAMMY Museum, and you're trusting me to tell you about ideas that aren't even released yet. So I'm honored. I'm honored that you trust me with your entertainment, and that I get to be a creator. So thank you for all of your support that allows me to be a creator. And happy to talk about new songs, happy to talk about old songs, happy to tell you about anything you want to know. Meanings, muses. Yes, you with your hand raised. Could we get maybe a few more house lights, because it's like interrogation lights at this point?
First of all, I wanted to tell you that I've been a fan forever. And we were at your 40th birthday at the Hollywood Bowl, which was amazing. That's not a question. My question is, will you play I'm Yours?
Oh, I will gladly. I will gladly. I can play it. So after the Q&A, we're going to take just a short intermission, then I'll come back and do a concentrated performance. But I can add I'm Yours either to that performance or at the end of this Q&A.
Let's do it for the end of the performance.
In the performance? Okay,
yeah,
I'm going to add it to the performance.
Full-on Raining Janie-ish.
And I'm going to add some Raining Jane vocals to our performance as well. Yeah, thank you.
Any chance of a return to Broadway?
Any chance to return to Broadway? I will answer my phone if it rings. But I'm not out there auditioning or writing anything for it, yeah. But I was very blessed to do it the first time, and if y'all out there write a musical, just give me a call. I'll see if that character fits for me. It's hard to see. Where are we at there?
Hi. I've been a fan for years, and you have helped my family actually through some of our toughest times. So
Aw.
thank you for your gift of music.
Thank you.
But my question, I guess, is what has been probably the most influential album that you've written? Maybe it's this one, or maybe it's one previously that you just felt your most authentic self, because every time you deliver an album, I just feel it's like even more authentic, and I'm like, I didn't know this man even had that much more in him. Like, it's just truly beautiful, your gift to the world of music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying so.
Yeah.
That's so nice. That's why I have such a big hat on today, because my head is going to swell from all this. I mean, I guess where I'm at now is it's the most current of my experiences, or our experiences as growing artists. And I tried with every album to just write about whatever's going on in my life. So love, loss, hope, optimism, gratitude. I mean, those things show up time and time and again because I think those are the constants in our lives. And so there's no reason anyone should ever have writer's block because there's so much going around us at all times. All you need to do is put your attention on one of those things and describe it. Literally, like, breathe life into that thing by singing to it. And so thank you for the acknowledgement that the music, resonates with your family, because that's my goal. Like, I want to, if it resonates for me and I get moved by it, that's what I'm going to try to share with you, because I'm like, hey, this moves me. So thank you for the acknowledgement. Yeah. I see a bunch of hands over here, but I'm trusting the MC with the mic here.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Chatsworth, California.
Hey, Paul.
I wanted to thank you for your song, Have It All. I always think of my children who I was blessed to be able to bring tonight. And my question for you is, when did you start playing guitar? And what advice would you give my 13-year-old son who likes to play guitar?
Awesome.
And would you sign his album afterwards?
Yes. I started playing guitar when I was 17. I got introduced to the guitar at 17. I banged on the piano a little bit. I knew some basic chords. But the guitar just looked so weird, so foreign to me. I was like, I don't know how anybody plays that thing. But luckily, I made a friend my senior year of high school who also played guitar. And he showed me what a chord was. And as I played it, I thought, uh-oh, I can now play guitar. I know a chord, and it sounds like this. And that was it. I just started making up songs, like, right away. But I was like, I need another chord. There's gotta be more chords than this, oh yeah, here's one. Now all my songs are just E minor and A, they go back and forth. I'll sing you a song now. Right? And so it just happened really fast because I think because I played a little piano and I also played little drums, for new guitar players, I think of my right hand as a drum. It's like, it's dancing over here, it's playing the groove, It's playing the drums. And over here, you're kind of playing piano a little bit. You're playing chords. You're just pressing down, denoting where you want the sounds to be captured. So that's it. It's like a little drum over here and just a little something over here. And there's not that many chord shapes, believe it or not. So once you learn the chord shapes, they're just repeated throughout the guitar over and over again. So once you learn the basic shapes, it's your little secret. But you can play anything after that. It just takes a little bit of time, for your fingertips to get adjusted, and for, it's like walking and chewing gum. You got to figure out how you can do this and talk at the same time and sing and think in advance, but it's easy. It's totally easy. You can do it. You can do it. If you just put your mind to it, you can do it. With 2 chords, you can do it. It's true. Yeah, it's true. And it still works that way. Anytime I learn a new chord, it's like, hey, there's a new chord. And it just
You're still learning.
Yeah, I'm
You're
still
still
learning.
growing.
Yeah. It's almost like I didn't even stop to learn. I just got introduced to a chord, and it's like, just let me have a show. Let me play a show. I'll play a show with this chord. Next week I'll come back with a new chord, and I'll play another song.
If we could have 2 more questions.
Hi, Jason. Hi, I'm over here. I
Hi.
wanted to know if there's any musician out there that you admire and would like to hopefully someday perform with.
Oh, so many. So many. So many. So many. On the drive up, I was listening to Lady Blackbird. Do you know her? She's crazy. Voice is insane. Beautiful. When I first started playing guitar, Dave Matthews was my local guitar hero. He was from a town nearby, so he was our local band that was making it big. And in a way, I was like, I'm going to open for that guy one day, and I did. I got to open for him many times. But he's so elusive. He's so strange. Doesn't really speak in complete sentences. And so we've never collaborated on anything because we've never actually had a conversation. So I would love that.
You're lying. Please tell me you're lying.
No, it's very true. It's very true. So, yeah.
One more question
Dave
before we
Matthews
take a
wanted-
break before the show.
Hi, I'm Tim, a huge fan. Sorry,
Hey,
my voice is
good to
shaking.
see you. Good
to
to
see you
see
too. So I know you write like a ton of songs. How often would you say that you like go back to the well, like super old songs, and bring them back to new albums, or is it more like an album is an intentional path and you try to like craft a lot of it? And also, if you could add "If It Kills Me" to your summer tour set list, that would be amazing. Because I've seen you 22 times and I've never heard you sing it. It's my favorite song of yours.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's it.
Great. Well, all I really want to do is love you. I can't much closer than friends do. Okay, I'll sing that this summer. Yeah, If It Kills Me. Wow. What's interesting? So this album has a song called Lovesick Romeo on it, and it's very much in the same style as If It Kills Me. It's unrequited love. In a way, that song was incomplete, and we were working on it for our Yes album in 2015, and it didn't make the cut. It wasn't fully realized. And when we were in the studio, we were working on some songs, I was going through the well. I was like, well, what else have we written through the years? And we came across Lovesick Romeo, and we've always thought that that song has one of the best bridges that we've ever written. And we were always a little sad that no one ever heard it, that we didn't get to sing it. So we jammed it out in the studio, and it just seemed like musically it really seemed to fit, even though it takes a little bit of it takes the narrative off course for a second to explore this unrequited love and this love that got away. But it kind of sums up the ending of the album for us too. It's like, don't give up, don't quit, even though things don't work out. Don't quit, keep going. The best is yet to come. And I say that because If It Kills Me is very much like, I will find a way to get back to you if it kills me. But in Lovesick Romeo, where we are now, 15 years later from when I wrote If It Kills Me, no means no. And I'm not gonna I will find a way if it kills me. No, okay, you said no, fine, I'm gonna go somewhere else. And Lovesick Romeo was kind of that. It's like, no means no, got it. You don't love me, I'm gonna go find somebody else. But they are similar in where they appear on the albums and even in their kind of messaging. Here's another reveal. I feel like I've written the same album 8 times in a row. I'll just leave it at that. I feel like the opening and the end and where things go around.
You're a storyteller.
Well, thanks. Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it.
And with that, we're going to take a short break. We're going to change the stage because he's going to tell us more stories.
Yeah, I'll come back and sing a couple of songs. Thank you so much.